trend templates. Similar as alarm templates, in DataMiner you are able to create trend templates. They basically define on which parameters you want to activate trending and have that performance data available. Let's take a look at that. So trend templates, first of all, we will take a look at the concept, what we are talking about, and then apply that into the user interface. Since we already covered the alarm templates and it is quite similar, it will be a lot easier and there are a lot less options available here compared to the alarm templates. And the exercise we'll do throughout that session here. So first of all, we are talking about activating those trend graphs as you have a screenshot here on the right-hand side. So by default, if you install an element and you don't specify a trend template, not a single parameter will be activated for trending. So you need to specifically activate trending on certain parameters. So we are talking about two types of trending that are available, as we already covered in the trending module. The first one is the real-time trending. The real-time trending basically means that every single change that we detect on the parameter will also go into the storage database. So that maybe depend a little bit on the polling speed and also how often the value changes, because note that we only store whenever a value changes. So if a value remains the same for a longer period of time, no additional records are going into the database. That's only when it changes that it goes into the database. So a real-time trending is typically for 24 hours by default, or maybe 48 hours you configured it, up to a maximum of 1,000 hours. So it's for a shorter period of time. Typically you have all the granularity that this parameter experienced over like 24 hours. So potentially that can be a lot of data depending on how often this parameter is being trended or being polled. Then you can also activate the average trending. The average trending is by default for 1 month period, slices of 5 minutes. Basically for every 5 minutes, DataMiner will calculate the average value, but also the minimum and the maximum within that 5-minute time slot. So you know in a 5-minute time slot what the average was, and also if there were certain spikes up and down, basically defined by that minimum and maximum. Since we have a limited amount of time slots of 5 minutes in 1 month, we know that this is maximum like 8,600 data points. Next to the 1 month, we also have 1 year where we slice it up in 1 hour slots. So for every hour slot, we basically define the average and the minimum and the maximum. And in 1 year, we have around 8,700 hours. So that's also a maximum number of data points that will be going into the database. Note that there is also a possibility to create a third time slot, but this is not the case by default. But if you want, you can also, for instance, add something like, let's say we want to store it for 3 years and we want to make time slots of 24 hours, so day slots, you could say. Note that the 5 minutes for 1 month, so the 5 minutes you can change to maybe 10 minutes, the 1 month you can maybe change to 2 months, 1 year you can change that to 2 years, the 1 hour you can change that to 2 hours, and you can configure that third time slot. So all of that is configurable, but note that the values that we indicate here are the default ones when a DataMiner is being shipped. So we have those two types of real-time and average trending there that you have to keep in mind. We can activate one or the other or both. They both have, of course, an impact on the database. We'll also discuss that. So an trend template is very similar as an alarm template. It's basically an overlay we put on our driver, because remember that the driver, we typically don't want to change anything in there. So that's something we can easily update to a newer version. And on top of that, we already saw the information template overruling certain things like the parameter name. We already saw the alarm template where we were able to define our alarm thresholds when a parameter needs to go into alarm. This now basically defines which parameters we want to activate for trending. You can already see it on the right hand side. So we do see the parameters and we do see the possibility to enable the real-time checkbox and the average checkbox. So it's very simple, just a list of parameters with the possibility to activate one or the other or both. Note I say the parameters here, but again, the list of parameters that we see here is a subset of the list of all the parameters we see in data display. That is because in the driver, we can define also which parameters are potentially interesting for activating trending. Things like the name of the device or like a date time. These kind of things, typically we don't activate trending. So we don't want them to clutter the list here with useless parameters for trend templates. And note that the selection which parameters show up in the alarm template and which parameters show up in the trend template is different because you can see the list here is actually shorter than the list we saw in the alarm template for the performance page of this Microsoft platform. So that's the subset of the parameters. If some of them are missing, let us know. We can easily add them. If there are way too many, let us know as well. We can easily remove them. It's the principle of the templates like an alarm template, meaning that you can create as many templates as you want and you can assign them to any of your elements. So you could have like 10 elements using template A, and you could have like 50 elements using template B, and even some other elements even using template C. So you can define several templates and apply them to your elements as needed. Okay, so we are again in that user interface, the protocols and templates. Let me pull that up in our DataMiner system, dcpdma.skyline.be. So I'm going again to the apps and I'm going to the protocols and templates. And there I would need to search again for my Microsoft platform. But actually I want to show you there's also an easy shortcut. If you already have your elements, the element we created before, I actually created 2 of them in the elements module. You can easily right click on any of the elements and you can go to that menu, protocols and templates. This menu contains a number of shortcuts to the protocols and templates app. To view the protocol, to view the alarm template, the trend template, to immediately assign or an existing or no monitoring or no trending, an existing template that you already created before. And you can also conveniently go to view available templates. And that's what I'm going to click now. View available templates opens up the protocols and templates app immediately on the Microsoft platform, the correct version, always use production version, of course, and I can immediately see my element there. It's using this alarm template and this trend template. So previously we took a look at the protocols and the versions and the alarm template. Now we are focused on the trend template, which works quite similar as the alarm template, if not almost exactly the same way. So that's where we will focus on. So you can use again the right click menu there to create a new trend template. You can open, of course, an existing one. You can create a new one. You can duplicate an existing one. Of course, you can delete one as well, and you can also upload. So we will create a new one, and we will then see that next to the details again you have on top, so you can hide some details with some more information about the template. And then you see the list of all your parameters and you can start activating some of those checkboxes there. So let me maybe already do that immediately on our system. So let me create a brand new one. There is a standard one which is currently being used by my elements. While creating the element, I selected indeed the standard trend template, but I want to create my own templates. So if I right click on no trending, I can only just do new and upload, and there is no open, of course. That's only on the standard or the templates that you created. The no trending is the one that is by default there coming out of the driver. So I go for new, very simple. You can just specify the name of your trend template that you want to create. The protocol and the version is, of course, whatever I selected already, so that should be just fine. Just specify a name, click OK, and there you have already your trend template that you can start configuring. The show details, just a couple of details here, and then I can start configuring, like for instance, the CPU load, the total processor load that we renamed in our information template. You can just activate real-time and trending, one or the other, or both. You can just activate the checkboxes. Note again, if I would OK this and close this, it asks me to immediately apply it. Well, maybe, yeah, we can do that. Previous time with the alarm template, we ignored that. If we say yes, you can immediately select your element and assign it to it, or maybe to both of my elements. Close. And now my BERT training, 2 of them are using this template. Indeed, those 2 elements are using it. The standard is being used by some other elements. Remember, if you reopen a template again to further configure it, so if I right click and open it, only one parameter is being shown because it shows only the ones that you configured. So that's to give a nice subset immediately instead of all the parameters or all the possible trended parameters. It only shows you like that's what is activated on there. If you want to add some new ones, you need to switch here to all the protocol parameters, and you can activate some more checkboxes. Now let's maybe open up my element next to that as well in a new card so that I can have them side by side. So let me check the data display page. So we see no trending except on this one here. So on this one, we do have trending available. That's what I activated. If I drill down onto this one, you will actually notice that you already have trending for a number of hours or even days. Well, that's actually because I previously had a standard template on there, which already was trending this parameter. If I would take a brand new one, like not really sure which ones are actually activated in the other one. Let me take something like physical memory usage as well, because I just activated a couple of real-time trending or average trendings. You can play with that on some other parameters. And if I say available memory, if I go to the trending, it basically doesn't show me any trending yet. So this was a parameter which was never been trended before with the previous template. So if I activate trending on a brand new parameter that has not been trended before, you won't have any trending. You will need to wait a little bit, of course. So if I drill down, it will take some time before this starts to fill in with the data. And then also a subtle difference is that this is the standard icon that is being shown for trending. It just shows a trend graph, you could say, while the CPU load shows you an arrow. And in the tooltip, I can see stable. That's actually because here we already gathered quite some data, and we actually know, and you can see it in the graph as well, that this parameter behaves stable. It could also be, this is the AI detecting this. It takes a look at the behavior of the parameter. So if it suddenly would start to increase, you would actually see an arrow going upwards or downwards or a variance change. So it actually looks at the behavior of the parameter and tracks that, and then it replaces the standard icon with an arrow to indicate what kind of decision it made on this parameter. But it takes some time, of course, before it can make that decision. So, and in the meantime, you already see a graph, and potentially, yeah, you can already see some of the first values are coming in here. So it will take some time, of course, before I will have a decent graph spanning over multiple days. Okay. So that's how you can easily activate some trending on one or more parameters. Now that's for creating the templates. If you want to assign it, I immediately assigned it after creating it because it was asking me to do so. If you want to assign it to some other elements, you can of course select your trend template, click on the assign elements or use the right click menu to select some more elements that need to use your your trend templates. Of course, in the edit of the element, you can also choose your trend template next to the alarm template. You can immediately also create a new element from here as well. So if you created a trend template, you can immediately create a new element from here. You can again export the parameters into a CSV export file as well. Now let's go back to that table thing, because that's also something which is popping up here. We saw it in the alarm templates, but also here it is of great importance, because let's go back to my task manager once more. So I have my task manager and I have a whole bunch of processes in there. And let's say I want to activate some trending on the CPU load of the individual processes. Like with the alarm template, let's pop up our trend template again. Go to the task manager page, and in the task manager, we find the task manager column, the CPU. So that's the CPU column. We can activate, let's say maybe only average for a process. The average is sufficient. If I would activate it by default with the star, let's do that. You will activate it, of course, on all the processes. So you can see the icon on all the processes. That's a little bit maybe too much. Let me add that filter again, SL. And let me make that smaller so that you can see I have my average activated there. Let's apply that once more. You can see they are removed from the other processes, and only on the SL processes they are added. Also, once more, you can, of course, also activate it on another one, like the print server, the Cassandra. Let's activate it. And of course, I need to activate a checkbox for this one as well. And now the icon will also appear on that one. So that's how you can make multiple filters. Same principle as with the alarm templates. Be aware, as I was activating it on a certain column, be aware that one single checkbox can have quite some impact on the database. The database basically needs to handle all those data records that are being stored in there. So you only have limited capacity depending on the resources of the hardware that you have running underneath your VMs or underneath your Cassandra nodes. So if I activate one single checkbox, keep in mind if it's a table and if that table contains a lot of entries, like in this case, I typically have like maybe 100 processes running on this server and on all of my servers. And if I use this template on like 100 servers that I have, you basically activate with one single checkbox the trending on 10,000 values. So 10,000 CPU loads of different processes are being activated with one single checkbox. If you don't specify a filter and your template is being used on like 100 elements with each 100 rows in that table. So keep that in mind. One checkbox can have quite some impact. Of course, the polling speed for real time is something that needs to be taken into account. And for this, it's about 10 seconds, I believe. Okay, so that's something you definitely need to keep in mind. So one more thing I want to specify, I want to mention as well, if you drill down into the parameter, you can quickly activate or fine tune it as well. So if I close this one and if I'm looking at my CPU load, for instance, if you want to verify which kind of trending you have, well, if you zoom in, you will actually see that it is real time, while in older data, it will not be real time, just averaged. But if you drill down, you are also able to go to the templates page. And in here, you can see that the trending is activated real time and average for this parameter. If I go to the available physical memory and go to the templates, I only activated real time. So you can also quickly change it in here And for instance, for the available memory, I will also want to have average trending activated. Remember, same with the alarm template, you can update this trend template and it will give you a confirmation that the second device here is also going to be impacted because my second server is using the same trend template. Do I want to continue? Yes, you can continue. You can also choose to update this for this element only, then it asks you to create a duplicate for the template with a new name, basically, and only assign it to my first element. So then you spin it off, you could say. And of course, you can also click on the edit from template to immediately go into the template and see all the parameters or even activate some more of them as well. You have a nice overview there. So that's all nicely linked together with different shortcuts in various ways throughout the UI. I already created a little bit of this example. I created my template, I assigned it to my element, and I activated the total processor load. Well, actually, we renamed the total processor load to CPU load and verified the result with also something activated on the task manager, a table with a filter that we created. So as you can see, this is basically quite similar as the alarm template, but it has a lot less options. Nevertheless, be careful with the configuration that your database does not get overloaded. You don't want to activate every checkbox in there, but you want to carefully choose the ones that are of interest for you. There you can activate real-time and average trending on the parameters you want. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.